Okay, I just thought I'll put a couple of slides in terms of how we can engage with JNNU RM, or more generally with the kinds of people that we have here, in using our expertise to address some of the issues that have come up so far. So, for example, before we implement solutions, it might be a good idea to involve some of the experts from IITs and other institutions to study and evaluate the solutions. This can be done by having controlled lab experiments be proposed and conducted, through which we can learn some interesting lessons. And the second is something that I think is very important for us to do. If you look at our campuses, most of the campuses themselves are in want of solutions to be applied locally. And I was talking to Partha just now, and he was also saying the same thing, that they want to try the IIT Kharagpur campus as a proving ground for piloting some of the solutions, be it in transportation, be it in water management, solid waste management, whatever you want. We have smaller scale problems that exist in our own campuses. And if you can't make them apply and produce solutions which are acceptable to the local population, we can be sure that it won't be acceptable to the larger cities that we want to cater to. Of course, doesn't mean that once you apply it to the local campus and it's acceptable there, it will be acceptable to the larger cities, but the other way around is very true. So how do we get this mindset in our communities that we belong to is one of the questions. And of course, getting funding for it is another question. And thirdly, we want to carve out research projects out of these engagements with JNNU RM and other institutions, so that we can develop city-scale new solutions based on the pilots and the learnings from there, as well as from the simulations or other experiments that we run. And something I mentioned in the discussions earlier this morning, it's very important to codify best practices and produce case studies which the students can learn from, and also apply them in the classroom environment. A repository of various technologies are available, and more important also is the data on urban life and resources and facts. So we started to do this, and I talked to Partha again about this, and we're going to collaborate between IIT Bombay and Kharagpur in creating a large repository of urban facts, be it from the government of India or from private resources. Of course, we have to get permission for replicating those facts as part of the repository that we're going to produce. So the idea is to serve other practitioners, produce data which is replicable, produce results from the data which is replicable using our pilots that I mentioned earlier. So it'll be a good resource for researchers as well. And it is one of the other problems that was mentioned this morning is capacity building and training of engineers. These resources can be used as a way to conduct courses, for example, through NME ICT, which is again part of the MHRD program. And we recently, Monica has conducted a green building awareness workshop, reaching about 10,000 students and teachers across 19 states in one shot. This is part of a larger effort that IIT Bombay has been conducting over the last few years. And the other is the CEP courses that all the IITs are very good at. And there's a course that, for example, Professor Kapil Gupta from Civil Engineering has been running. 1,200 engineers have been gone through this course, and this is also inspired by JNNU RM projects. And if you look at the curriculum that has been developed over the years through CEP and offered through our training programs for reaching other constituencies and other engineering-oriented institutions, including academic institutions and beyond, we have the kind of topics that we've been talking about here in the context of urban science and engineering: drainage management, energy management, solar energy harvesting, solar thermal power, off-grid solar, rainwater harvesting, green financing. So you name it, it's all there. Now it's a question of multiplying this. And as I mentioned before, we have through the NME ICT program a way by which we can reach 10,000 people in one shot and train them with hands-on experiences, get the feedback, and go on from there. So I think it's now a question of building a knowledge repository of best practices, apply them to our teaching methods and also research methodology, and have our own campus act as a proving ground for our research results. And if we can't showcase on campus and make it work there, the chances of, again, multiplying it elsewhere in larger cities is almost non-existent. So I think we have a great opportunity to apply our minds to the problem of developing small-scale solutions, getting feedback locally, and multiplying the efforts and impact elsewhere. So this is what I wanted to mention as one of the ways in which we can address some of the challenges that we've been talking about. Repository building, studying small-scale impact of what we do and then multiplying the lessons learned from there, and then carving out research projects for ourselves. Finally, it's all a question of developing new solutions for problems that we are all familiar with. So what I'll do now is to pass on the floor to Monica, who will talk about her effort in integrated sustainable campus using smart ideas.